Okay. Yes, I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened. I was kicked out of the meeting. I think Zoom people didn't want me to be there in the meeting today. Okay, I can see Abir. Hi, Abir. How have you been?
I'm fine, ma'am.
It's so nice to see you all settled and with your camera open every week. Nice. Good to see you. Okay, I can see Chanchal. Chanchal, is it the first time that you're
Hi.
attending our class? Hi, good
Yes,
evening.
yes. This is my first class with you.
Oh, all right. Wonderful. So, did you join in late?
Last week, yeah.
Last week. Okay, so you must have had a session with Roshni ma'am, right?
Right, right.
Okay, good
Had
to
two
know.
sessions with her.
All right. Okay. Vinita. Hi, good evening. I can see you too.
Hi, ma'am.
Okay. And we have how do you pronounce your name? Nishiana.
Yes, Nishiana. Correct.
Nishiana. Okay. Hi, Nishiana. Good evening.
Good
I
evening.
think it's the first time I'm seeing you as well. Yes?
Even I joined a little late, and my first class was with Roshni, ma'am.
Oh, so both of you joined in last week.
Yeah, I didn't meet Chanchal though. Okay, I think I missed.
Yeah, she might
Hi.
not have been there. Or maybe, yeah. Roshi ma'am took two sessions, I think. Anyhow.
Ji. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay. Okay. So welcome to the two of you. It's the first time I am meeting you. I'm Dr. Ishani Saraswat and I'm the head of Amity Finishing School. So I'm a communication skills expert, a trainer, and I have been with Amity for the past 15 years now. Now, talking about this 1 month certification, thank you so much for joining in. The classes that you've missed and the class, the duration of classes that you have missed, don't worry, you will be compensated for that. And we'll give you those classes as and when we start with the next batch. So all our batches keep rolling one after the other. There could be a slight gap in between, but if we feel we have about 3-4 people who are together and who've missed a class, then we'll arrange a session for you. Okay. All right. So before I actually begin, I have already taken one session with these students. And in that session, we spoke about verbal communication, small talk, and we spoke a lot about, being a good presenter and being a good speaker. Now, the first session that I was supposed to take with them, that was a non-verbal communication, which somehow I did not carry forward because there were very few students and some of them did not switch on their cameras and all. So that is why. But today, I will take non-verbal communication again. And hi, Rashi. Good evening. Good to see you.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening. Okay. It's nice to see all smiling faces on the cameras. This is why you need audience who switches on cameras so that at least you know who is it that you're talking to. Okay. So before I take it further, let's just take a short, quick introduction of the two new people who joined in for the class. So Nishiana, let's hear from you first. And I want to know the meaning of your name.
yeah, sure. Hi, I'm Nishiana. So my meaning of my name is getting stronger. I think even I was curious when I started giving interviews. Interviewers started asking me what's the meaning of your name, and I had to Google. But yeah, I'm from Bangalore and currently based in Bangalore. So I've been working for Oracle Cerner like as a product owner.
Okay. Oh, wonderful. Okay.
Thank
So
you.
you
And
were,
yeah,
yes, please go ahead.
I'm very excited about this etiquette. I really like all about etiquette and trying to upskill oneself. So the moment I saw Amity, I really loved your courses. And I was so much into 3 months program, but because I'm working professional, I cannot. And that's why I joined this 1 month and it's going great.
Okay. Oh, good to know that you've given our evening a wonderful beginning, and thank you for giving that kickstart. And I'm really happy to hear that. So, one thing about your name, I have been teaching for 15 long years, and I've never come across this name. It's such a unique name that first it's difficult to pronounce. You've got to get accustomed to the pronunciation, but also the meaning of it is very nice, very nice.
Thank you
Good
so
to
much.
Good to meet you and good to know you, Nishiana. Let's hope that your journey further with us also, becomes fruitful for you and proves to be nice. And hopefully, you will be able to upskill yourself by the end of the course. Let's
Yeah,
see.
sure. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
there's a lot of difference, when students come in for an offline course. So it's the same thing, like you have classes twice in a week, they also have a classes thrice in a week. But the amount of time and that personal interaction that we do with the students, you can reinforce a lot of things. So definitely, offline classes still have an edge over online classes, I feel.
Hopefully, I get to take one in the future.
Yes, fingers crossed. Our doors are open for you.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, so Chanchal, let's hear it from you.
Hi, so I'm Chanchal. I'm based out of Raipur.
Mhm.
I've not really been out, and I am a law student actually.
Okay.
So, this is my last semester for law.
Okay.
I'm studying
Okay. And why are you here for a course?
to learn.
Okay. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay. All right. Fine. So good to have you on board, Chanchal. And hopefully, let's see, this journey should add some value to your prior knowledge and to your personality as well. Now, the rest of them, I can only
It
see.
is already, and I'm sure it will. Sorry to interrupt, but
Okay.
thank you.
No. Thank you. Thank you. Good to know that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So I can see that how many people are there? Vinita is there, Abir is there, Rashi Hai is there, and that's it. It's just like what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. Okay. So Ada, can I please request you to follow up with the other people once, please?
Yes, ma'am, I already have at 4 o'clock. I'll just do a follow-up message once again.
Okay, just drop them a message, and this is for you also. We keep reminding you that if you are unable to join in for a session, please inform us in advance. It helps us a long way, because there might be a day when, let's say, 5 people are not joining, and then we will not take a class on that day. Then we will reschedule it for a day at a time where more people are available, because it takes a double amount of effort for the trainer to repeat the same things for a bunch of people, and those people who've not even informed us in advance. So that's not a right practice. At least if you know that you won't be there for the class, you let us know in advance. What's the problem? Right? Okay. So on that note, let me just start with something that I had to do. Guys, now, when we talk about communication, there are two major aspects that I will be taking care of. I'll be talking to you about verbal communication, which I've done in my last class. But for the ones who've joined in late, I'll give you another session. And today I'll be talking to you about non-verbal communication. Now, when I say the word non-verbal communication, what comes to your mind? I want a very honest and a candid answer, nothing from the books, something that you feel about non-verbal. What do you think is non-verbal?
And to express ourselves through gestures and body language.
Okay, gestures, body language. Okay, what else?
Also, I feel the vibe that we give to the other person, that is counted.
Yes, absolutely. That vibe is very much a part of nonverbal communication. We call it vibe, but that is your energy that you radiate to the other person, because of which the other person, feels comfortable, happy, sad, or agitated around you. So, of course, that vibe that you are saying is absolutely a part of nonverbal communication. So what I'll do is I will be sharing a PowerPoint presentation with you. Okay, and just give me a second. Allow me a second to do that, please. Okay, so you can see my screen, right? Mhm.
Ma'am, your screen is visible.
Yes. I'm just switching on the PPT. Can you see my PPT now?
Yes. It's there.
All right, fine. So perfect. Now what we're going to do is, as I mentioned, that as you only mentioned, in fact, that nonverbal communication, it is what the process of communicating without words. It is done through sending and receiving wordless messages between two people. Now you can see when I say nonverbal, it is everything to do with your gestures, with your, gesticulation, your body language. Now, as Abid mentioned the word body language, for now, just understand the fact that body language is one little part of nonverbal communication, okay? That is not nonverbal communication. Body language is one little element of nonverbal, and I'll tell you which element it is. Just give me a while, okay? You might have seen this. You'll be surprised to know This is a model that was given by a social anthropologist by the name of Mehrabian. And what did he say? Mehrabian said that, out of the 100% of the communication that we do, okay, if you total up, 93% of it is non-verbal in nature. Imagine 93% of it out of the total 100% communication is non-verbal in nature. So how much is the verbal content? It's just 7%. It's just 7% of the words that make a difference, right? So we spend all our lives working on our language, our words, how are you speaking, how are you talking, what are the words that you're using, so on and so forth. Whereas we forget the rest 93% is completely non-verbal in nature, right? So why do we invest so much in words? We do. For one reason, because words, they complement non-verbal communication. So if I say a thank you, my thank you will complement my non-verbal communication in the way in which I nod my head, or I bend forward, or I join my hands, or I give you an impression that I'm really thankful to you. That is why we invest on verbal communication as well. Now here you can see that 38% of the tone of voice makes a difference, which I will be discussing with you, and 55% of it is body language. Now body language, as you mentioned, it is, I'll just let you know, it's a part of non-verbal communication. So here it means non-verbal and not body language only, okay? Visible code in non-verbal communication. Okay, before that, my question to you is, I want an honest answer. When you see people for the first time, right? When you see somebody for the very first time, tell me, what is the first thing you notice about them? What's the first thing you notice about people when you see them for the first time? Guys, I want answers. Anything that you notice about them, the first thing that you notice about somebody.
See how like overall their personality, and mostly if they're welcoming, like smile is what I would see.
Okay, smile is the first thing you notice. Okay, what else? Let's hear it from Chanchal. What is the first thing you notice about people?
It is basically their expressions.
Okay, their expressions, right? Okay, Abir, I know I asked you this question last time also.
And their eye contact, ma'am.
Eye contact. Okay, okay. All right. Who else is there? Please answer on your own. I can't see the participants right now.
For me, it's their personality as well as maybe how friendly or how they are behaving with people. I mean, I would want to behave with them accordingly.
Okay.
So, per se, if they're more professional, I would want to be more professional with them. Maybe they're very friendly, then I can be little casual and like not casual, little more friendly in my approach. So that way, maybe.
Okay. So out of 8 people here, the 5 of you who answered, each one of you said that the first thing that you noticed was an element of non-verbal communication, be it a smile or be it, the welcoming expression or overall personality, or let's say eyes, or let's say hair, facial expressions, whatever. All of this is a part of non-verbal communication. And it is very much a part of our communication system that tells the other person about our personality. Please remember that, okay? Now, here on the screen, you can see there's something called visible code. There is a lot of technical language used here. And if you want me to go through it, I'll just, this is only for your knowledge. If you don't remember it, it's perfectly all right, but you should know what it means. So the first part of nonverbal is kinesics, which means body language. Kinesics, I'll just explain all of this one by one. Oculesics is eye contact. Proxemics is the distance. Paralanguage is the tone. Artifactics, not artifacts. Artifactics are the accessories. Chronemics is the sense of timing, and tactilics is the sense of touch. Okay, tactilics is also called haptics, right? That's for your knowledge. Now, what is kinesics? Number one, these are a few things, a few tips for maintaining proper body language. So kinesics, number one, is the way we walk, the way we sit down, our postures, our style of walking, our hand movement, our nodding of heads, gestures, all of that is called kinesics. And that kinesics is also called body language. Okay. Now, if you were to ask me, there's a research that says that when you enter a room, you have formed your first impression within the first 7 seconds. So they say that it takes 7 seconds to form a first impression, and they say that it takes 7 more meetings to change that first impression. Now that's a study done by Harvard Business School. But the point is, whether it's 7 seconds or whether it's 10 seconds or whether it's 20 seconds, you'll get a lot of studies which say 20, 15, 7 seconds. The point remains that just a few minutes, a few seconds after you have entered a room, people have formed an opinion about you, right? Okay, so what is it that people will form an opinion about? Like, you are 5 minutes into the room and you've hardly spoken a word, you've not said anything, and people have already judged you. The good thing is that they've judged you on your nonverbal communication. But if you don't know that you are being judged, then you can falter with your nonverbal. So the first thing that needs to be observed is when you walk, okay? Guys, walk with a straight back. A straight back, a head held high, not this high, chin parallel to the ground, okay? My chin parallel to the ground, my shoulders rolled backwards, straight shoulders, as you can see. Okay, your shoulders should be straight, right? Not slouching. And when you walk, your hands should be on the sides. Open palms, not clenched fists, okay? Hands on the sides. And when you walk, you place the heel of your foot first and then the toe. That means you don't stomp your foot, the heel and then the toe. Why? Because they say that people who place the heel first and then the toe are optimistic people, are positive people. And a lot of people don't know this. But if you go in for an interview tomorrow, or if you go in for a meeting tomorrow, if you're in a formal setup, people, the experts will observe you on all these small factors, okay? And all of these factors are called body language. Now, the first part is walking. You'll also be surprised to know that a study says that when you enter a room, the first thing people look at or notice when you enter a room is your back, imagine. Not your back, but the placement of your spine, how straight or how slouching is your back. If you walk with a straight back, okay, people feel that you are confident, right? And then the second part of body language is the way you sit down. Now, obviously, when you sit down, you must place both your feet on the ground. Both the feet on the ground, okay, parallel to each other. Don't join your feet. Parallel to each other, your feet should be in proportion to your shoulders. That means not that far away, but your overall persona or your overall physique should look proportionate when you sit down, okay? And when you sit, imagine that there is a ball kept behind your back. How will you sit? Obviously, you'll sit straight and you won't lean and you will not slouch, okay? So a straight back with the ball kept behind your back, hands on your lap and not on the other person's table. And please don't cross your hands, okay? You can place one hand on top of the other if you keep it on your lap, okay? You can just simply place your hands on the lap, all right? But do not cross your hands. Crossing of hands, of feet, of legs, any kind of crossing in non-verbal communication, please remember, is a barrier to communication. If I sit like this, if I sit with crossed arms, and if I talk to you sitting like this, okay, and if I sit with crossed legs also, if I talk to you, you will definitely feel that there is a certain barrier or inhibition. You might not be comfortable talking to me. You might feel that there's a barrier that I am placing in my communication with you, okay? So no crossing of hands or your feet or your legs, right? A lot of girls will Many girls will come up with this question. It's very comfortable to sit crossed legs. Yes, it is comfortable. I agree. But sitting crossed legs, what does it indicate? It indicates lack of confidence. And when a boy sits with one leg on top of the other, it indicates overconfidence, okay? Or too much confidence. So if you have to sit, please make sure that you sit with both the feet on the ground and you don't cross your legs, okay? And now coming to the slides, balance movements with verbal cues, avoid random movements, sudden movements, people get distracted. Step forward to indicate that you are arriving at a point. So, let's say you're sitting in a meeting and people have been talking and you suddenly want to make an input, you bend forward and you start talking. So stepping forward to indicate that you are arriving at a point. Step back when concluding a point. Okay, it signals that you are momentary, that the audience, that they can relax for a second. So if you sit back like this while in a meeting, it means that you are taking rest. And lead with your foot nearest to your destination. You know what it means? So it means that if you're sitting down and your foot points towards a certain person, okay, it could be any foot, right or left. Both your feet are on the ground. And let's say my right foot is slightly tilted towards somebody who's sitting around me. Okay. Now, if it's slightly tilting towards there's a person, it means that I am fond of that person, or I would want to talk to that person, or I like to talk to that person. That is what it means. Even in a group discussion, when you sit down, the movement of your foot, it describes or it tells other people where and what. Okay. Facial expressions reflect emotion, feelings, and attitude. The face is one of the most reliable indicators of a person's attitudes, emotions, and feelings. By analyzing facial expressions, interpersonal attitudes can be deciphered and feedback can be obtained. And some people try to hide their true emotions, and that term is called poker face. Just so you know what a poker face is, when people try to hide their emotions. We call it a poker face, right? Tightly clenched hands usually indicate that the person is experiencing undue pressure, and it may be difficult to relate because of the tension and agreement, okay? Like this, like the one in the image. Superiority and authority are also indicated when you are standing back, joining your hands behind your back, okay? Right? Okay, guys, wherever you have a confusion, wherever you want to ask me something, please go ahead. Please feel free to interrupt, question, to discuss, and to interact. That is why we are here, all right? Okay. Rubbing gently behind or beside the ear with the index finger. Okay, fine. Thank you. So I was saying that you can read this word. This word is called oculesics. Now, if I talk about the word as a word, oculesics means related to eyes. Okay, as you can also see the image, it is related to your eyes. And what is that? That is the eye movement and the eye contact that we talk about. Now, why is it important in nonverbal communication? Because eyes tell a lot about a person's personality, about a person's behavior and the openness, and also the amount of honesty that you have in a relationship. So to make people feel good and show your interest, you must maintain eye contact, number one. Of course, you must maintain eye contact, that's for sure, but I'll ask you a question related to it. The easiest way to maintain eye contact is to look at the person's face above the tip of their noses. So what it means is, see guys, if you look at my eyes, from my eyes towards the chin, okay, there is this inverted triangle, right? Now, if you look at my eyes and you look towards the forehead, there is a triangle, right? This is a triangle and this is an inverted triangle. So when you look at people, number one, you should maintain eye contact for sure, because eye contact tells the other person that you're confident. But for how long should you maintain an eye contact? That is also a very big question mark. So there is no fixed limit to it. You maintain eye contact for as long as you can hold the other person's gaze. That means I'm looking at you and you are looking at me and I'm able to strike a conversation, hold it till that point. But beyond that, it could get intimidating for the other person. The other person might get scared. The other person might fall in love with you. The other person might, start liking you. So the purpose of the conversation is definitely lost. So my point is that if you're confident in making an eye contact with the other person, it's very nice. Please do that. But if you're not too confident, then what you need to do is, or when you need to change the gaze, what you do is from the eyes, look towards the forehead. Okay. So that's what it says, because this means that you are giving respect to the other person. And that is why it is called the triangle of respect. And if you look from the eyes towards the chin or towards the neck, this is inverted triangle. And people who are sexually, physically, socially interested in other people, they look down from the eyes. And that is why it's called triangle of social gazing. Okay. Yeah. People avoid, okay. Left lookers are more influenced by logic and precision, and right lookers are found to be more emotional, subjective, and suggestible. You know, there's a very important point here. So what it means is, so, the left side of a brain is called the logical brain, right? I hope you all know that. And the right side of the brain is called the creative brain. It's also called the emotional brain. And it is also called, the brain that is more influenced by emotions and the creativity. So if a person while talking to you looks more towards the left side and answers, it means that the person is thinking logically. And if you look more towards the right side in your answer, that means that you are thinking creatively or emotionally. And a lot of times people say that, people who, that women are called right lookers because we are more emotional. So, but that's not always true. Many a times it's not that we always look more towards the right hand side, but yes, even if we do, there is a pretty reasonable logic behind it. So, and if you look straight and you talk, that means you're a balanced person. But before you actually go out and start judging people on this, please understand it is true only for people whose major hand is the right hand. Okay. So if your major hand is the right hand, only then it will be true for you. If your major hand is the left hand, then it's not going to be true. It's not going to hold true for you. Okay. Right. Try to reduce tension and build trust rather than increase the tension. The raising of one eyebrow shows disbelief and two shows surprise. So when you do this, it's disbelief. I don't believe it. And when you do this, it means, oh, I'm surprised. Okay, right. People avoid eye contact with other people when they are asked an uncomfortable question. I think you all know that, nothing to be explained. Posture. So this is what I was talking of initially. This is back to kinesics. Crossed arms signal defensiveness. They act as a protective guard and to a fixed position. And conversely, open arms are extended towards gently, indicate openness and acceptance. So when you talk, you must use your palms. Open palms are a gesture of open communication. Okay. Sitting with your legs crossed and an elevated foot, it means moving in a slight circular motion indicates boredom or impatience. Interest and involvement are usually projected by sitting on the edge of the chair and leaning slightly forward. This is exactly what I was telling you. You sit on the edge of the chair and you lean forward. It means that you're interested in talking to the other person and you are interested in listening to them too. Okay. People who walk fast and swing their arms freely tend to know what they want and they go after that. So there's this statement, very interesting statement. It says that your actions define your attitude. People who walk fast, take longer steps, swing their arms, they are supposed to be, they give an impression as if they know everything. They're supposed to be people who understand, who know everything, who know what they're doing, so on and so forth. Okay. People who walk with their shoulders hunched and hands in their pockets tend to be secretive and critical. They don't seem to like much of what is going on around them. Right? Okay. Any questions, anyone? No?
I had a doubt here. When you say fast, I was thinking if we walk very fast, does it look like we lack confidence because we are told not to speak fast because that shows lack of confidence?
No. So walking fast, if you walk faster than your usual pace, it shows that you are confident and that you are dominating, not dominating in the wrong way. Bosses, they walk fast. So whenever I do it, I give it this example that when the bosses are going, you'll find them, they'll walk very fast. They'll do something, they'll talk to somebody, then they'll do something. Oh, and everybody feels, yeah, they're so confident and they know everything. So if you walk faster, but you've got to take longer steps also. If you walk fast and take shorter steps, you will look clumsy. So longer steps and a slightly faster gait. That gives an impression to people that you know what you're doing. An impression of confidence, basically. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Next part of nonverbal is called proxemics, as the word suggests. So, guys, all of us as human beings, we are always aware of the kind of distance we need to maintain with people. And when I say distance, I mean physical distance. Okay. So when I say physical distance, I'll give you an example here. So it could be that, let's say, a situation where you are standing in a metro, or let's say you are standing in a crowded place and in a queue, okay, somewhere, let's say even at the airport. Now there's somebody who's standing right next to you, okay? Now, the person means no harm to you. The person has not done anything to you as such, but the person is standing too close to you. My first question is, will you or will you not be conscious of the fact that there's somebody standing so close to you?
We will.
You'll be conscious, right? Now, even if the person means no harm, you're conscious that there's somebody standing close. The moment you get a chance, you will walk away, isn't it? You'll walk away, right? Why? Because nonverbal communication is not only this conscious, guys. It is also unconscious. It is subconscious as well. Nonverbal communication is something that is always there in our minds. It may not be evident, but we are always aware of certain things. And proxemics is that branch of nonverbal wherein you maintain, how much distance to be maintained while talking to people. So the experiments that were done on proxemics, it was concluded that every person is surrounded with zones, with certain zones, okay? So 0 to 18 inches around you is called the intimate space. 0 to 18 inches. So you are 0 and 18 inches around you is called the intimate space, which is meant for your personal doctor, your pet, or your partner, okay? Or anybody whom you allow in that zone. That's the intimate zone. Then 18 inches to 4 feet around you is called the personal zone, okay? Personal zone is what? Personal zone is the space in which we exchange business cards, in which we do handshakes, in which we actually conduct business meetings or office meetings or professional meetings. You would have noticed that, the conference tables or the office tables, okay? The office tables, which are usually there in a big conference room, or let's say your senior boss is sitting somewhere and you've got a table around you, the width of that table is usually around 4 feet. It could be lesser, slightly lesser, but it's usually 4 feet because that is the distance we maintain while doing business with people or while dealing professionally with somebody, okay? And that is why it is called the personal space, right? So personal space is the international zone of doing business with each other or formally dealing with each other, okay? Then is the space of between 4 feet and 12 feet. So between 4 feet and 12 feet, the distance that is there, that is called the social space. Okay. Now, social space will be that, let's say you've gone out to watch a movie, okay, and you're sitting with your friend and you're watching a movie, but people around you, they are acquaintances. They're not really your friends, right? And the moment you get a chance, you'll just step aside, okay, because they're not your friends, but you've been made to sit in that environment. So that is why you come into each other's social space. And then the public space example would be if you go out to watch a cricket match, the purpose of everybody who's sitting there is the same. Okay, the zone in which you are is the public zone, right? But you are here for a common purpose. So you don't sit in a public zone with your friends, you don't sit with your acquaintances, that they are strangers. who are there for a common purpose, and therefore you share that public space with them. Okay. So why are we doing this? So that you know that whenever you are in a professional environment, you go and you maintain at least a distance of 4 feet with the other person while communicating with that person. All right. Okay, so 4 feet is the ideal distance that needs to be maintained. Also, guys, when we talk about proxemics, it is very natural for us also. You know, for example, you are, let's say, sitting on your study table and you've got your phone, okay, and you've got your laptop. And I'm chatting to my friend on the laptop, and suddenly my phone rings and I see that it's my mother who's calling. So, you know, what will I do? I'll take up the phone and I'll push the laptop aside. You know why? Because the laptop now goes from intimate zone to personal zone, right? But if somebody who calls me calling me is just a colleague, you know what will I do? I'll put the phone like this, okay, and I'll keep chatting because the person who's on the laptop is more closer to me. So when you're emotional, you'll pull the pictures close to you. When you're working, the pictures take a back seat and you concentrate on your working. So that is the importance of space and the concept of space that is in everybody's head when we kind of talk about nonverbal communication. And it's very important. Okay, right. Any questions here? Okay, so coming to the next part of nonverbal, another element is called paralanguage. It's also called paralinguistics. Para means along with, language is language, linguistics, you know, is language, right? Paralanguage involves the study of voice quality, volume, speech rate, and the manner of speaking beyond the said words. So there's this quotation that goes on. Half of the problems in my life are not because of what I speak, but because of the manner in which I speak, because of the tone of my voice. So there's this example which I share with most of my students. And the example is that once, you know, I stepped out from a classroom and a bunch of girls was walking in front of me. One girl was talking to the other one and she kept saying something and the other girl kept answering and kept saying, oh, shut up. Oh, shut up. Oh, shut up. And she kept saying that to her friend. Now this shut up, do you think it actually meant shut up? No. What did it mean? What do you think it meant? Yeah, Chanchal, you were about to say something.
Yeah, that I mean, maybe she's not really believing what she's saying.
Or maybe she doesn't want the other person to shut up. You know, she's just trying to be humble.
Maybe, ma'am, maybe she is embarrassed or something about the thing that they are saying.
She's what? Sorry?
Embarrassed, I think, ma'am.
Embarrassed, yes, it could be, because what I felt was that the other person, that girl, was complimenting her on something, and she probably wanted to come across as a humble person, you know, somebody who's like not too vain. So she was liking that praise and she just wanted to say, oh, shut up, you know, just shut up, stop saying that, so on and so forth. So the point is that imagine a word as rude as shut up can be said in the politest of manners, right? And on the other side, the most politest word, let's say, you know, thank you or sorry, can be said in the rudest of ways. So instead of saying, I'm sorry, some people can say, sorry. Yes. So what is it that makes a difference? The tone makes the difference. And what is tone? Tone defines our mood. Tone is a manner in which we speak a particular sentence, a particular word, and that reflects our intention behind a particular word. So when I say something like, you know, this is a table, ideally my tone should go up. So there's this something called rising tone. So when I say this is a table, so I should say this is a table, my tone goes up. Okay. When I interrogate, when I ask a question, okay, my tone should go down. So I should say, how are you feeling? Are you okay? Are you okay? Not, are you okay? How are you feeling? Right? Do you see the difference between the rising and the falling tone? Yes or no, at least nod your heads. You do. Okay. And the third kind of tone is when we are in doubt. So the rise and the fall. So it would be something like, she's an intelligent girl, but I believe she's unwell. So the tone goes up and then it comes down, right? This tone modulation is also called intonation, and it only comes with practice. You have to be very conscious of the language and the manner in which you speak a language. Okay, so you need to understand that tone needs to be correct. And also, another thing about the tone is be firm, but be polite. That's very important. Be firm and be polite, but how's that possible? A lot of people face this issue. Arey, hum to sorry, hum to mana hi nahi kar sakte kisi ko. It's so difficult for us to say a no to somebody. You know, we are unable to say no to anybody, and so on and so forth. Do you face that problem? You do? Okay.
Sometimes
Sometimes. Okay. So if you do face the problem, what do? How do you say no to people?
when I cannot say no, ma'am. Sometimes
Okay.
We should tell them that
I
we're
say,
sorry.
tell them I am sorry, I cannot do this, or
Okay.
like that.
Okay. So you are right. Sorry to bolenge, but why should we be sorry when we have to say no to somebody?
Courtesy.
Courtesy, yes, but there is nothing to be sorry. You know, a better approach of talking would be that we can modulate our tone and we can convey this in a polite manner. Okay. Even if you don't have to say a sorry, you can say that I'd love to do your work, but at the moment, I am preoccupied with something that is more pressing. So I'll be able to do it. Even if you say a sorry, it's okay. You know, that depends upon the kind of relation you have with the other person. So if somebody senior is asking you for help and you want to say a no to that person, you can politely say that I'm really sorry, but as of now, I am occupied with my own assignments. So give me some time. After that, I'll be able to do it for you. Or you can say that I'm sorry, but I have no idea of this topic and I don't think I'll be of any help to you. So I hope you understand. But say it in a tone that is firm and polite at the same time. All right. So being firm and being polite are the two biggest weapons you can use. And that is the trait of an assertive personality. So the ones who've joined in today, maybe you don't know, the others must be remembering or knowing that we did kind of 4 kinds of personalities. Do you remember that? Aggressive, assertive,
Passive,
yes.
passive aggressive, and assertive.
Wonderful. Abir, I think you were the only one paying attention in class. Okay. Yes. So the 4 kinds of personality. So what we aim at becoming is an assertive personality, right? Okay. Then is the pitch. Now, what is the pitch? Pitch is the degree of shrillness in a voice is called pitch. So pitch is something that you can't modulate too much. But yes, girls are inherently, they have a higher pitch than boys. But what we can do is we can lower down our pitch. If we have a very high pitch and a very shrill voice, then we can bring it down, and by being more critical about us. So it's not that difficult, right? Okay, intensity, rhythm, and tempo. Intensity is the degree of volume. How loudly or how softly do you speak? Rhythm adds a musical quality to your sound. So we are not robots. You know, if I were a robot, I would say paralanguage involves the study of voice quality, volume, speed, rate, and the manner of speaking beyond the said words. No expressions monotonous, but rhythm adds a musical quality to my language. And I give it a feeling that there is a certain connectivity of words and there is a certain musical quality attached to my language. Okay. So there's another important aspect here, guys. There's something called stress. Now, when I say stress, I don't mean the stress. Okay. I don't mean the mental stress. No. Stress in a language. What is it?
I
It's
think pause.
sorry.
Giving pause to a word.
No, pause is different. Pause is different, which is also very important. But stress is emphasizing on a particular word. if you ever want to understand, if you ever want to know that what is it that a person, what is it that a person gives importance to, you can understand by the most stressed word that they speak. So some people will say, I don't have a car. I don't have a car. I don't have a car. So the most stressed word becomes the most important word. If somebody is talking about money, so that person, a materialistic person will involve money in all the sentences and will keep emphasizing on the money. If somebody is emotional, they will talk about emotional, they'll have an emotional vocabulary too. And they will emphasize on those words more than the words which are related to materialism. That's very evident. And you must look out for these cues, even when you speak. So the stressed word, the most stressed word, becomes the most important word for a person. And that is paralanguage. So it is not words that we are talking of, guys, but it is the manner in which we speak those words. That is what we are talking of. All right. So remember, paralanguage adds to 38% of what we speak to other people. 38%, it's a lot. And 55% is visual, jo hum dekhte hain. The way we wear our clothes, the color combinations, our walking, our sitting, our nodding of head, our eye expressions, and all of that. That comes under visual. Okay. Then comes very interesting, chronemics.
Ma'am, what was tempo about?
Tempo was the speed. Tempo was the speed.
Okay, ma'am.
Tempo is basically the number of words you speak per minute. So how fast or how slow do you speak? That's the tempo. Okay. So they've missed out on artifactics. Okay. Right. Chronemics. Chronemics is the study of time. So I've spoken a lot about it today. I had a long training session in schools, and I was doing time management with them. So there's this very important factor about time that you should know, that, the way we manage our time and the punctuality, the way we value time, starting on time, finishing on time, making others wait or waiting for them. Also, the manner in which we divide the entire day that we spend. All of that, guys, is a part of our non-verbal communication. You must have noticed that people who are more punctual, people who reach places on time and who are usually more punctual, are respected more by their colleagues and their other fellow mates. Because it's a virtue. Being punctual is a very big thing. Starting something on time is a very big thing. That means that you respect time. And it's not something that you go out and say to other people, but people just observe this about you. Oh, this person is a punctual person. No, he's always before time. That means that you are a better planner. That means that you value time. That means that you know how to manage your time better. Do you understand? So chronemics, here the difference is also in cultures. Now in India, when you talk about an event, let's say somebody invites you for a wedding and the timing mentioned on the card is 10 o'clock. By what time will you reach for the wedding? North India specifically.
10:30, 11.
10:30, 11. Abir, tum kahan baithe ho abhi? Which part of the country?
Kanpur, Uttar Pradesh.
Kanpur, yeah. So pretty much north. Okay. Okay. So if we talk about North Indian and even otherwise for Indians, God knows why we feel that it will be an insult to us if we reach a wedding or an event before time. I mean, imagine that's the perception we have. And one major reason behind this perception, is that our culture is polychronic in nature. Polychronic kya hota? One is monochronic. Monochronic culture is the Western culture, the US culture. They do only one work at one time. And that is why if you send them an email, an American will reply with the same promptness, to which we reply to a call. So the promptness is the same. And we reply to an email after 2 days and they reply within 2 minutes. One reason is that they rely more on written communication. And second, very big reason is the perception of time. For them, time is money. And for us, we are multitaskers. हमें 10 काम करने एक चीज एक time पे. That is why we miss our deadlines. And that is why Indians are notorious for that. But the ones who are working in the corporates now, I'm sure you realize and you know the value of time. And in corporates, people have started changing their mindsets related to time. Okay, so time is something that will define a part of your persona, part of your non-verbal communication system, and the promptness with which you reply and the respect that you give to time is something that will reflect your personality, and that will be wonderful. I mean, that is the way it should be, ideally. Okay. Coming to artifactics, it's such an interesting thing about non-verbal communication. See, most of the artifactics part is taken by Masha ma'am, and she has already taken an image session with you, isn't it? 2 sessions on image with you, right? The ones who've missed it, don't worry, we'll give them to you again. So she's spoken about body shapes, about your image, your external image, and how to portray it and so on, clothes and everything. But what I'm talking of right now is that the colors that we wear, the clothes that we wear, the accessories, okay, the spectacle frames, the ties, the shoes, the watches, the belts, the clothes, everything reflects a part of our personality, isn't it? You'll agree with me on that? Yes. Now, if you are a formal this thing, let's say an officer, and if you're in a formal corporate setting, you will wear a certain kind of attire. Okay, you might be wearing a business suit and so on and so forth. But what I mean to say here is, number one, colors. Colors tell a lot about a person's mindset. How? I'm not saying that you should wear this color and avoid that color. वो image management का part है. What I'm saying is that there are meanings behind colors. Yellow color makes you hungry, instigates hunger. Red color makes you energetic. White color gives you peace. All pastel shades calm your mind. Black color is the color of the unknown, okay, the most mysterious color, and it's also the most formal color. Okay, blue color is the color of the corporate, and it stands for sincerity. So blue color is the color of sincerity. Okay, orange color also gives you energy. Green color helps you think fertile in a better way. Purple color is the color of the royal class. Blue color is the color of sincerity, and pink color is the color of ambition. Why am I talking to you about this? Because this is a part of our non-verbal communication system. If you go for an interview and you wear a black colored shirt, and if you're wearing, let's say, if you're wearing a black colored suit and you're wearing a tie that is red in color, nobody's going to chuck you out of the interview. It's perfectly all right. That's the combination. But that red color will definitely distract you because it gives you a lot of energy and will distract the interviewer as well. That is why we say that if you go for the interview, you should wear pastel shades, or you should wear light tops and dark bottoms, because light colors calm your mind. Okay, and you should try and wear colors that can help you concentrate on a particular topic rather than wearing colors that make you more energetic. Okay, right? So colors is a part of artifactics, and there's something else that's a part of artifactics, and that is called perfumes. So how many of you love and like wearing perfumes? Okay, Rashi is raising her hand, Abir is raising his hand. Okay. Okay, Nishiana has also raised her hand. Where are you? Why can't I see you? Oh yeah, I can. All right. So, and the others don't. Vinita, you don't like using a perfume?
Yeah, I like.
You do? Okay. All right. If you like using a perfume, most of us use it because of the smell, that a perfume smells good and fighting body odor and smelling nice and all of that. Okay, fancy stuff, fine. But one of the other reasons for a perfume when it was made One reason was, of course, body odor. Second reason why it was made was to attract the opposite gender. I don't know whether you've noticed or not that most of the people, okay, many girls, they like male perfumes better. And many men, they like female perfumes better. So there's nothing unusual about it. But the reason is that our body excretes certain fragrances, okay, apart from sweat. And they're called pheromones, or they're called pheromones. And one of those pheromones, they are odors that may not be detected by the naked nose. So ho sakta hai, dogs, they detect some kind of an odor, which we can't, right? Now, those pheromones or pheromones, what is it that they do? They are very typical to every human being. And a part of it is also attracting the opposite gender. So when they make a male perfume, they put male perfumes primarily, but they also put a part of female pheromones in the male perfume so that the females are attracted towards it. That's the reason why all those ads of that Axe, when a man wears Axe deo and the women are running behind him, a useless ad, absolutely, but there's some truth to it, okay? But this is only true for good perfumes. When I say good perfumes, I don't mean go out buy Versace or go out buy Gucci or Chanel or, YSL or something. You can invest in a very decent perfume, which is 1,000, 1,500 rupees. Use it for a year. You don't use it every day, and which would be a Zara perfume. Very good perfumes. They don't stay for as long, definitely, but they smell good and they're decently made, So because in perfumes also we have different categories, right? So this thing, perfumes is something that you must wear. Now, why am I talking about artifactics? Because perfumes are a part of your communication system. If you use one perfume for 2 years at a stretch, okay, the third year or after 2 years, you will actually start smelling like that perfume. So it'll become a part of your pheromones if you wear a same perfume for 2 long years, okay? And second thing is that when you wear a perfume, you should understand and you should know that your perfume should not be a disturbing perfume for others. If you wear a perfume that's a very loud perfume, you might love it. But if you walk into a room tomorrow wearing the same perfume, many people might get distracted because for them, that's not a good perfume. And it's a very loud perfume. All right. Okay. So understand the value and understand why perfumes are important, right? So moving on from artifactics, a lot of other things also, personal objects like pens, briefcases, accessories, they reflect a part of your communication or your communication system, right? Even in the same way, when we talk about spectacles, so they say that people who wear thick rimmed glasses, okay, plastic or whatever, dark and mota framed spectacles, those people are overconfident, okay? And they're attention seekers. That's what they say. Then there are people who wear rimless glasses. So they'll be the scientists and the doctors who want to be backstage and who'll just keep working. And there are people with half-rimmed glasses. So they are the best and the most balanced people. Provided you are not making a choice of your spectacles based on fashion, and if it's a genuine mindset, then you are likely to be that kind of a personality. But please understand, non-verbal communication can never be absolute because, it also depends from one culture to another. So some gestures which are acceptable in one culture are not acceptable in the other culture. So we have that variation, but they are universal symbols. So the things that I've been talking about, they're usually acceptable all throughout, okay? Okay, this then come to the, okay, why isn't it moving? Okay, yeah. Remember that you are dealing with people. When we talk about nonverbal, what do you mean by people? Postures and gestures, eye contact, orientation, how you position yourself. Eye contact is how's your lighthouse. Presentation, how do you deliver your message, your tone, your volume, whatever we've spoken about. Your looks, are your looks, appearance, and dress important? Okay, artifactics, and expression of emotions. Are you using facial expressions to express emotion? That's very important. Okay, that's how we deal with people. Non-verbal communication in the workplace. Number one, looking co-workers in the eyes while speaking, using open palms while talking, using the right tone while leading, and walking with a straight back and a head held high to convey confidence in your abilities. Okay, I'm sorry, but I think I skipped a slide here. Just a second, because I haven't spoken about haptics, which was the last part. Just give me a second, please. Okay, chronemics. So yeah, there's this slide that's missing here, and I don't know how. And that slide is about haptics or tactilics. Haptics or tactilics, what is it? It is the touch. Okay, and the touch through which you understand about people or you form an opinion about people. Now, obviously, in a personal scenario, if your mother hugs you, you know it is love. If you touch somebody's feet, the manner in which they place their hands on your back or your head, you understand what intention the other person has. That's the power of tactilics, and it's called touch or haptics. But in the professional scenario, how do you understand a person's intention is by a handshake. Through a handshake. Okay, so a firm handshake. That means when you shake hands with people, the web of your hand should meet the web of the other person's hand, number one. Okay, how do you shake hands firmly? You shake hands, hold the other person's hand. Okay, you extend your arm like this, but don't hold it like this. Your arm should be slightly bent. Okay, and you should bend forward. When you shake hands with somebody, please understand it's a gesture of humility. Okay, so extend your hand and bend forward. Okay, your hand should be like this. And hold the other person's hand tightly, firmly. Look into the eyes of the other person and give a smile. And when you pump your hand, please do not pump your hand more than twice. 1, 2, or 1, 2, 3. That's it. No matter how happy you are, but don't do something like, oh my God, I'm so happy to meet you. It's such a pleasure to meet you. Please don't do something like that. Okay. The other person will get a pain in the arm, right? And it's not professional at all. So the right kind of handshake is called a gentleman's handshake. It's also called a corporate handshake, or it's also called this firm handshake, right? And that is called tactilics. That is the manner in which professionally tomorrow you'll be able to understand the intentions of the other person. And when somebody said vibes, you know, the vibes are created also through a handshake. You get to know a lot about the other person through a handshake, a flimsy handshake, you know, handshake in which you get hurt. That kind of a handshake is unprofessional and shows a lot about the other person, right? Coming back now, okay, role play and professional situations, I can't do it right now because all of you are online. Had you been in my offline class, I would have done something, because non-verbally, I can't really see you, but yes, we'll try and do something. As of now, please go through this. Common gestures of openness. How do you know a person is open-minded? Open hands, unbuttoned collars, leaning forward, removing coat or jacket, uncrossing of arms and legs, and moving closer. All of this we discussed. So this is an open gesture. This is what we should be aiming at, all right? Defensiveness. People who are defensive usually have a rigid body, arms or legs tightly crossed, eyes glancing sideways or darting, minimum eye contact, lips pursed, fists clenched, and downcast head, right? Okay. Now there's something called a gesture cluster. Gesture cluster. That means a lot of non-verbal gestures, they add up and they form a cluster and they mean something. So it's the same thing as what we were doing, you know, openness, defensiveness, right? Evaluation gesture. So when you evaluate somebody, you tilt your head, hand to the cheek like this, leaning forward and stroking the chin. Okay, I'm trying to understand. I'm evaluating you. All right. Readiness. So you can see a person who's ready for an interview. It's goal-oriented, communicates dedication by sitting forward at the edge of the chair. But sitting at the edge of the chair is not a good gesture, guys. At times, it also means desperation. Okay, and this may negatively give the appearance of being overly anxious also, right? nervousness, clearing one's throat, chain smoking, covering the mouth with hand, tapping fingers all the time, whistling, jingling pocket change, fidgeting, and twitching the lips or the face. People who keep doing this, they are nervous and they're anxious. Boredom or impatience, drumming of fingers, cupping the hand, okay, foot swinging, you know what it means, brushing or picking a lint, I don't want to do that, looking at your watch or the exit. So it's a very negative gesture. When you're talking to somebody in a professional space or otherwise, you must not look at your watch again and again. What it means is that you are either bored, okay, or you're not giving enough importance to the other person, or you are in a hurry. So never look at your watch while talking to people. Yeah. Enthusiasm, it's an emotion that you love to see in people, and it is conveyed by a small upward or inward smile like this. I can see all of you giving me that smile, which is wonderful. Hands open and arms extended outwards, of course, like this. Eyes wide alert, lively and a bouncy walk. Walk fast, take longer steps, a lively and a well-modulated voice. So when I talk to people, we've spoken about voice modulation. I should not sound like a robot. And I even enacted out that for you, okay? And that's it. That brings me to the end of the slideshow and the PPT. Now, any questions from you? Anything that you'd like to ask me? Anything that you've not understood or you want to understand more, or is there any, or anything that you'd like to talk to me about?
At time, ma'am, when you were explaining about something doing like this, but the internet issue was there, ma'am. What was that, ma'am?
Okay, so the index finger behind your ear, right? So it
Yes,
meant
ma'am.
that I have my doubts. I'm doubtful about it. I'm not too sure about it.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Anything else? Guys, have I been able to make sense to you? Have I added to your knowledge? Yes.
I
But
must
this knowledge
it was
is
a very I really liked this session with you. I'm happy to be a part of it. It was really knowledgeable. Learned a lot of things knew about before. It was really helpful. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Until I love your smile. You've been smiling throughout the session, and that's so nice. I mean, everybody has been, but you've just had that wonderful smile on your face. And I'm so glad, guys, that you were able to understand things. But the point is, it's not only about understanding, it's about implementing as well. If you start getting conscious about the way you walk, the way you sit, the way you deal with people, and everything about nonverbal, I'll give you this PPT. There's no problem, but it's not going to help you. I'll give you the PPT, but what you've learned and the way you implement that in your walking, sitting, talking, everyday mannerisms and everyday dealing, that is what is going to make a difference. Right? Okay. Yes, I'm sorry I interrupted somebody. I think Nishiana, you wanted to say something?
I had a question, but
Yes.
before that, yeah, +1 on Chanchal. I think she has a smiling face and exudes such positive energy.
Yes.
It's so nice.
Thank you so much. I think looking at all of your faces, it just automatically happens. I don't know, but thanks.
That's wonderful. So I had a question about hand gestures.
Yes.
Which are those common hand gestures that we can use, like when we are talking, we are supposed to use, or giving a presentation?
Okay.
I have seen few listing and a few of those, but then do we have some standard ones that we can take and use them?
Yes, we do. And I'm glad you brought that question up because I forgot to mention that. And I talk about it when I do verbal communication more. See, one thing is when you give a presentation or when you're talking to people, you must use, okay, so I'm going to lower it. You must use hand movements, right? Open palms, but don't overdo them because it creates a confusion in the head of people. Okay. So use your hand gestures in a balanced way, in an open way. Second thing is when you are giving a presentation, you can make this steeple. This is called a steeple, S-T-E-E-P-L-E. And when you make a steeple, when you stand with the straight back, and your steeple should be in front of your stomach, not here. Okay. So when a steeple is when you make a steeple in front of your stomach, when you stand with a straight back and when your feet are slightly parted, it changes into a power pose. If you are interested in power poses, go watch a video. It's a TED Talk video by a speaker called Amity, AMYCUTTY. Amity, she speaks a lot about power poses. So one of the power poses is this. When you stand like this, okay, that means you're focused. That means you are making a logical point. That means that you're coming to a proper conclusion. That means all your thoughts are gathered together and we are working towards one direction. Okay, so steeple is something that you can make rest. When you give a presentation, you should move around, use your space. Don't just stand on one particular space, okay? And if there is a projector behind you, you stand at an angle, so that you can look at the projector and you look at the audience at the same time. Don't stand straight, all right? And don't walk too vigorously. It disturbs the audience. Walk slowly, use your space, and maintain eye contact when you speak to people. Right? Okay. Okay. Anybody with any other questions? Vinita, why do you look so dazed? All okay in Singapore?
After a day's work.
After a day's work. Oh, yeah. Okay. And how's Singapore? All well there?
Yes, ma'am, all's fun. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yes. So anything else, guys, from your end? Okay. I have, yes. Okay.
Thank you for that. It was really helpful.
Thank you so much. I'll share the PPT with you. All right. And I have one more session with you, which is on cross-cultural communication. So probably next week someday, we'll take that. And I think this Friday, Masha ma'am has to talk to you about digital literacy and much more than that. All right. Thank you so much, guys. Have a wonderful evening and have a wonderful, no, it's just midweek. So I can't even say have a good weekend. Okay. The rest 2 days of the week. Okay. And thank you so much. I'll just take your leave. And please be on time for the Friday session. All right. Thank you. It was wonderful interacting.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for the wonderful session.
Thank you, ma'am.
I enjoyed being interacting with you. I'll take your leave. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.